Dude, it's so hot.
Days where you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks.
Yes.
And you don't know why. No human contact. And if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is to stay away.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Airsoft podcast, one of the many ones that are out there. We're kind of juggling around with names right now, so don't know what the official name's going to be. One of the ones in the running is Plasto Blasto. Don't know if that's going to stick. Let's see. I'm Caleb, and with me is... That's your cue, guys.
My name's Hunter. I'm the mechanic of the group.
And also...
Hello. Yo. Where is he? Okay, if y'all want to know who the other one is, the other gentleman, he'll explain himself in a few seconds. His name is Nate, one of our former new Airsoft buddies who joined our little crew. So he's just a new member who's just started into it. But
I think my audio is too low.
nah, oh, you can hear you. Don't you keep mute yourself. Stop doing that. Say your name.
My name's Nate. I'm a newbie, so
Cool.
I've only been playing for like 5 months, so but
Yeah, definitely
I've been playing
the newest member of the group.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, officially playing for 5 months, not like publicly like non-public. I've been playing for like a while because my uncle that got me into it.
Very cool, very cool. I was gonna ask about because you have the freshest eyes on the hobby, I kind of wanted to ask you guys some questions about that. But first, let's talk a little bit about how'd you first find out about Airsoft? What was it a family member? Was it a friend? Did you see a YouTube video and that kind of sparked your interest? Because I know we all come from different backgrounds in terms of like hobbies and interests. So I'm just curious to know what got you guys into the sport. And I guess we can start off with Nate.
My uncle got me into it, and this was like a long time ago. This was like 13 years ago. I was like little at the time, so my uncle used to play Airsoft pretty regularly. He's been a he's an older player. He's been playing since 2008.
Mm-hmm.
So but he just recently quit, like for whatever he has reasons, I don't know. He quit in 2019. On top of having 2 children. But yeah, it sparked my interest from that point. Until officially I moved up here a year ago, so 2 years ago actually, because it's been a minute. And I actually found you guys through one of your friends.
That's true.
Yeah.
You happen to be my friend.
Exactly.
And I feel
here's my question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Here's my question, Nate. So far you've been doing Airsoft. How do you feel so far doing it so far since you played Airsoft? How do you feel now since you're doing
I
it?
feel like I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been having a blast to the airfield or the airsoft fields we've been to. I'm more of a indoor and outdoor. It just depends on the players and everything and what the field is,
Gotcha.
So it's always that first year, I'd say especially you're learning your likes and dislikes when it comes to Airsoft. Back in the day, I used to go to indoor and outdoor fields, the same amount. And now I've kind of moved more toward the outdoor field play style, and I still like indoors, but I haven't gone in a long time. So. Yeah, Nate, I would say that this first year, you're going to be okay, I know, my likes and dislikes for game modes, for the people I play with, the different replica guns that you're using, you're figuring all that stuff out. And That's definitely very important.
Yeah.
And I have a follow up question too. So when your uncle left, did he give you his gear, or did he just kind of show you the ropes and then he's like, I'm not gonna do this anymore?
He showed me the ropes. I think he gave me some of his gear. I don't remember. He said some of them like got ruined because he hasn't like used them in a while after that. Um, he like showed me the ropes kinda. Um, he gave me some of his gear. I already said that like 5 times. I left it at my grandma's house the one day, and I think my grandpa threw it out
Oh no.
because he did not know that
Mm,
Jake gave it to me.
all right, that's cool.
Yeah. And Hunter,
Yeah.
how about you? How did you find out about the sport and all that?
Oh boy, how can I start this? So during the COVID-19 pandemic, I was still brand new. I was doing some tree work back in the day out in Gerard, and I called a buddy up to see what he's been doing since we had the pandemic going on. I gave him a call that I know from tech school, and he's like, "Yeah, we're playing some airsoft." I said, "Could I join?" He's like, "Sure, come over." So I drove over. I played with him and his friends with some of his airsoft gear, and I was playing with him at his own private property with all the buddies I've known from tech school. And one of them had, well, I was still new, so I was getting used to most of the ropes and everything. And I had a buddy of mine take me out to Mercer, look around their shop, understand the feeling. And through on there, I think I just continued my airsoft career from there. I took some research, I did some YouTubing, watching a lot of people play, played Mercer a couple of times, playing some indoor fields. I mean, it's fun. And
Yeah.
I've been doing it for since 2020.
Awesome, awesome. And also fairly new. I'm not sure what other members of our group when they started, but from what it sounds like, everyone is kind of in that, that 2019 to the present day kind of starting date. And yeah, I would say like if you're like an OG airsofter, you started at like 2010 and before, because from what I heard from like older folks, those were like the dark times when guns were like literally the average gun cost was like $600, and they'd be like
No,
pieces of shit. Um,
exactly.
and so like the technology wasn't there, the quality wasn't there, but now thankfully over time, the replicas have gotten more and more sturdy, and MOSFETs are a huge thing now too. Like I remember like 6 7 years ago, like MOSFETs weren't a thing. Like we had lipo batteries and whatnot, but there was no protection in place, in case the battery fried the gun. um,
Exactly.
so I can't imagine like the 2000s, the mid to late 2000s, what that scene was like. That must have been crazy.
Probably was back in then.
Yeah. Um
I mean, now we have newer brands kicking in, new gens being built,
yep, yep.
and there's just a lot into it. You have to go in because a lot of guns back then that you said, like back in the dark days, they all have been discontinued to the new generation to where everything can work properly. Like you said, the MOSFET's the biggest thing now because a lot of things back in the day, probably they found out guns have been blowing up like crazy. Batteries been expanding.
Yep, yep, definitely.
So,
And I know that happened with a
right.
lot of my older guns. Like a lot of my older batteries are just expanded immediately, and that's just how it was. So I guess that leads me kind of into how I started. I think I first heard about airsoft like early 2013. I was playing. I played paintball for the very first time that same year. I had a friend who had some extra guns, and so me and my brother, we went out with him and a couple of his buddies to like this sand lot, and we just shot each other for an afternoon. Um, and so that kind of piqued my interest in that kind of hobby. And like I heard about airsoft kind of casually on the internet. I looked up a couple videos, nothing too crazy. I don't think there was any big influencers back then. Um, but then I saw in Cabela's there was like really cheap like AA battery powered guns, and I was like, oh, okay, well these are cheap. These will work. So we got some and just like fooled around in the backyard for a bit. I think everyone has that common story of like, yeah, you go over to some guy's house or a friend's house and you kind of shoot each other and dick around for a couple hours, and then you continue from there. So that's where it kind of officially started. And then once my brother and I saved up a little bit more money, we actually bought like actual airsoft guns. And for the first couple years of playing, probably from that 2013 to 2016 era, we almost exclusively played at one of my friends' houses. It was just like 7 of us guys showing up every other weekend or so and just like coming up with random team deathmatch games and shooting each other in the back of his woods. And then we found a field to go to, and then once the scope opened up of like, oh, we can play with 90 people, and people know what they're doing in terms of gear and game modes and stuff like that. It really opened up a lot of possibilities. So when I found a little bit more money in my wallet and I upgraded all my gear to what I have today, that kind of changed the game for me. So
Precisely, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing too is gear and stuff too. I mean, yeah, gear is most expensive, but like whatever gear that suits you, you have to look at it to if this is what the setup you want to run with. I mean, it depends on your characteristic. What is your outfit look like? What do you want to run with? That's the biggest thing right now with airsoft. Some people like to run with ghillie, but maybe they're not ghillie. Maybe they're assault, like Nate. Nate's more of an assault person, likes to push and stuff. You always have to see foresight what you want to be.
yeah,
You know,
definitely. And I say
but
that's a learning process too. I mean, we were talking a little bit about this before with Nate coming into the sport. This is his time to figure out, what guns does he like? Does he like close range or long range? And what's his preferred play style? I know that like everyone's fooling around with snipers nowadays. That's also a very viable game style to get into. So. I say like me and Hunter, we're more comfortable kind of with what guns we have and what we like to do. So Nate, I would like to hear your thoughts of is there any particular play style that you're kind of leaning toward, or is it kind of you're just willing to try everything?
So like I like to strategize, like based on like the gameplay. Like I like to strategize, like what would be like most suitable, like to get us the upper hand or something.
Yeah.
okay,
Um, if like there's a point that we need to push, I'll push. If there's like a guy that's like sniping and we need to take him out, I'll like have to find a way. We'll strategize like together or something.
Mm-hmm. So more of the
okay,
aggressive kind of thing. You're always wanting to push up kind of thing.
Yeah.
okay.
Very cool.
That's a good way of thinking too. That's a good way. I mean, some people don't do that nowadays.
Yeah, I totally
Some
agree.
people
Yeah.
are some people nowadays running in tight groups, like you see. I'll put an example because at Mercer, there's a group who always goes to Milsums. They always work as a unit. That's something. Strategize and push is the biggest thing nowadays. That's why they have these. If you see these other, and Caleb can back me up on this one because I've encountered a lot of Milsom players, and let me tell you, they're the real deal.
Yeah, I would say so. The people that are really into the historical accuracy of their camouflage or their gear, it's just really impressive to see. And I know that like some guys that look really official, like that like the chest rig and the camouflage and everything, it would never be worn in the real world. Like it would never be army issue, but it looks cool enough that for airsoft purposes, it's pretty dang cool.
Precisely. And you're
Yeah.
not wrong with that. Because with the way the terrains are going out, you have to pick the right camouflage or the right gear setup to run in certain fields like Mercer. Right now, it's the summertime. Leaves are going to be popping out, so you're going to see a lot of ghillies. But the only downfall with snipers at this field is if it was a bigger field, I can see snipers go all the way through. But this, I feel like in Mercer snipers right now, it's just there's too many of them.
Yeah, and there's a couple sight lanes. Like there's different places that snipers can put themselves to be effective, but it's tough. I talked a little bit about this in my free weekend recap video, but there's not much a sniper can do that is better than like someone with a long range gun. You know, the range isn't there for Mercer.
No.
Yeah.
And also Nate, I just want to kind of piggyback off what Hunter was saying earlier about having that aggressive mindset. That is definitely something that's rare in a lot of newer players. Is, you know, I see all the time where, you know, people like rentals and people like young kids and people newer to the sport, they'll just like hang back and kind of just like sit behind a tree and just hang out, and they'll hear gunfire happen in the distance, but they won't like do anything. They'll just kind of like hang around, not do too much. And then, you know, that's really unfortunate, because then they get this mindset of, man, I haven't killed anyone all day, I must suck, or this field sucks, and so I'm gonna give up the sport and go home, you know. And so I try to like tell new players, you know, you got to push up, you got to like follow people. If someone is confident in leading a charge or getting to like behind cover, you know, you want to follow that person. So I think when Hunter is being very vocal on the field about where enemies are, where he's running to, and also Nate with you, where you want to strategize and take up a tactical position, people look to that. You know, you might not feel like a leader, but you're showing leadership qualities. So I really respect that in both of you guys.
Very
Okay.
appreciative.
Thanks.
Appreciate the compliment. Now back to
Thanks.
that question. It's I only give out call outs if I see enemy movement, because sometimes no matter which side of the field, like I've been playing Mercer for quite a while and I understand people's play styles are gonna be where they assume to go. If we don't, because sometimes I've seen it happen almost all the time. I've been around enemy forces so many times by myself without a squad near me. I'm one of those guys that some airsofters fear the most. And even I've had compliments from refs and all the time, and they go, "Dude, you're crazy for sneaking past like 30 guys are watching one, because you want to overcome their, you want to try to flank them to where they don't know where you're going to be pushing. So if you're just pushing the front where they're aiming at, they're going to aim at that spot all day.
Right.
It's what you want to do is you want to try to try different strategies, like you said, Nate. Different strategies. You got to try to to think ahead of what's your plan going to be, because sometimes enemy forces, they look at one way and that's it.
Yeah.
That's why you got to flank them so that they don't know. But sometimes they usually have snipers or any guy that's backing up. That's one out of 30 of them looking that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've had that encounter.
I play way too many video games to stay in one spot, so like I have to watch all four corners of my like peripheral and turn around at some points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like very active when I play.
Exactly.
Yes. I will say, I just want to give a brief example on you know, if you're stuck in the position and you kind of if your head is fixed in one spot and you're not looking at your periphery, it gets you into a lot of trouble. I will say this, like let's say there's an enemy force in Water Buffalo at the Mercer field. You know, they have a defensive position, they're behind cover, they're looking at all the angles of fire, you know, seeing where, you know, their enemies are coming from us. And so what do we want to do? Well, our team, we want to send one force straight at them, you know, engage them in the open, try to like pin them down or whatever, and then another half of our force try to flank around like through the brush and kind of come around the back, because hopefully the people in Water Buffalo are going to be so preoccupied with the people they can see that they're not going to see the rest of us flanking around. And I did do something similar to that in some game. I forget which time it was. I think it was last year at some point. But I kind of was just very sneakily going through the brush and not like making a lot of noise. And the enemies in Water Buffalo never even saw me, and I took out like 3 or 4 of them and cleaned up some open space. And then they tried to send guys to come find me in the brush, but because I was quiet and checking, all the different angles of vision, some of them just walked right past me, and I would just turn around and shoot them in the back because they would just go right past me because they're not looking. They're like, okay, we have to walk down the path to find the enemies, but little did they know I was hiding in the brush, by their feet basically. So it's one of those. It's one of those things of you do have to be looking everywhere at all times, even though you might think you have allies next to you. It could be an enemy instead.
Exactly. Always watch your 6 every time you go somewhere.
Yes.
Always.
So next, I just want to ask, what was your very first airsoft gun? And like, it could be like, I said it in my opening statement of, I bought, really cheap plastic Springer guns from Cabela's. And later on, I bought, what was my first electric airsoft gun? I think
Was it the Echo Fall?
I think it might have been, I think it might have been the Echo Fall that I sold you. That must have been like my first like actual legit airsoft gun. So I'm just curious to hear what yours are.
Should I go first or?
Yeah, go first.
Sure.
All right. So like I didn't buy mine. Like I said, my uncle gave me his. So my first was an electric one. It was a pretty like expensive gun for like you said at the time, Dark Ages, they were super expensive. He had a metal one with a battery inside. And that was like it was an AK-47 like model.
Cool.
All right.
And you, Hunter?
I'm still here. My first airsoft gun was a Spectre Arms M4. I think it was probably a Gen 1. I think it was the first ever Spectre Arms was selling airsoft guns to Mercer. I sold it. I sold that to Cody, and Cody has that now still. But it was my first ever airsoft gun. I sold it to him, and I think, that's pretty much that was my first airsoft gun of the season I started.
Very
I
cool.
shot that for a while, so
Mm-hmm.
first through my last.
Nice.
But think of a question. I'll think of it soon.
Okay. While you're thinking of that, I want to circle back to Nate. Is it like a full metal like black AK, or is it kind of that traditional, like Russian AK?
It was a full metal black.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
The mag was even like metal and everything, but
That's awesome.
Nice.
But like, unfortunately, the battery blew up when I was charging it, so I had to unplug it from the wall because it started like steaming, and I'm like,
oh my god, yeah, you got to throw that away.
yeah,
I know.
that was not fun. I had to throw it outside into the water puddle, and it blew up.
Oh my god.
I'm like, God. My uncle was like, that happened to my like last 3 guns.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I can't diagnose what the issue might be. It could be the battery. It could be whatever's inside the gun because it's older. That's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
And based on what the newer guns are like, I think they resolved the battery issue.
Yeah, that's one of the things that the MOSFET is used for. It is, if there's too much amperage, voltage, whatever it is, coming from the battery, it'll like lock off the gearbox so that it doesn't take in more power than it should. So that's one of the many fixes. Also, just like better production of batteries in general too. That really helps a lot. And I asked about the AK. My brother's very first airsoft gun, that wasn't like a crappy one from the store, was a full wood AK-47.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Like it smelled beautiful, and it
He
was
put his nose across it.
yeah. And not only was it full wood, but also it was electric, but it was electric blowback. So there was a little like piston that would like slam the bolt back every time he fired. So it's got that like really nice metal sound.
Realistic, yeah,
Yeah.
realistic.
Not a lot of guns nowadays do electric blowback. It's always like CO2 or HPA.
Technically, they actually are starting. There's a company I know. They've been out for a while. They're called Tokyo Maruni.
Oh yeah.
Now they're the only company that I know of so far that do electric blowback. There are other airsoft guns that do it as well, the AEG part. But Tokyo Maruni, I know so far, is the only one that does the realistic blowback.
Mm-hmm.
But they have a lot of faulty parts, so their parts are really high graded. So you gotta make sure whatever part you buy off of them, you gotta make sure to buy the same one.
Yeah.
That's what's
It's
tricky about
electric.
that. It's an electric AEG blowback.
Boogie woogie
I can.
woogie.
I'll send you videos. I know, right? But they're starting to bring that into that as well. They're trying to do blowback AEGs, or just trying to manufacture. It's hard design to replicate, just like what Tokyo Maruni's doing.
Mm-hmm.
They've been doing it for a while. So
It's definitely a cool feature. Very, very cool feature.
Mm-hmm.
fucking beautiful.
Hunter, did you think of your question?
Yeah. Shoot, what was I gonna say? Ah, man, I forgot. It flew over my head.
Oh my
We're
god,
talking
Hunter.
about blowback. I'm sorry. I
I
just have
know.
a bad mindset. I mean, what can you do?
That's true. That's true.
Uh,
We're talking about
but
blowback, and Hunter
anyways.
got all confused.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got confuzzled. Bamboozle me. Oh well.
Let's not bamboozel
I'm kind
anyone.
of. Precisely.
You gotta wear protection for that.
Pretty much. Wear a cup every time you're walking by. Dude, I get hit under there all the time. It sucks. The one time I had a bruise, it was a Red Dawn event, and I was in Russian forces, and my buddy Cody and my other two friends back in the day were like Wolverines. So like I'm in the Russian forces and I'm chilling by tower because back in the day Mercer had 2 towers.
I miss those.
I'm sitting on
Never
top of 2
forget.
snipers. I heard some forces getting fucking slammed on. I said, guys, I think we have a problem. All of a sudden, I just saw babies flying past me, and I'm like, yep, I'm taking cover. So I dropped under and fucking crawled because we were getting slammed.
Oh,
I think that there were like over 300 players, but most of them were all Wolverines.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
even kidding.
I can't
Most
imagine
of our
300
Russian
players.
It was so many. It was like almost, oh my god, under 100 Russian forces. I just watched a scientist in our group walk back. I saw a trail. I'm like, that don't look good. All of us started freaking out. Like, what's going on? I don't know, but we're fucked. And we're just sitting by tower. And a kid just throws me a Slim Jim. He's like, "You want a Slim Jim?" I said, "Sure." We're so fucked.
What a guy.
What a legend. Just give me that Slim Jim for energy. But getting shot under the waist is the worst part to get hit. I got shot by Cody, and it had to heal for months. It was still there, purple mark, and I'm like, and Cody's like, "What?" I'm like, "You shot me underneath my belt." This was a 1911 Elite Force 1911 CO2 pistol.
How close was he?
Because, oh my god, like 3 feet.
Oh,
Because
yeah. Yeah, that'll
he
do it.
literally came with a battalion of Wolverines behind because I came around the corner and my pistol ran out, and I was like, ah, shit. Literally, I had nothing. I couldn't even do nothing. I was like, I'm fucked. There were like
Couldn't
10 of them
blasted you.
lined up. Dude, he did. It hurt. I didn't get him in the forehead the one time. That was funny.
He got a big forehead, so that's pretty easy. Just aim.
My clothes pretty big. He's a big ass forehead.
That's why you gotta wear a helmet. Gotta protect that, big old forehead.
He's exposed it too much.
Yeah, he does.
You literally can see a big forehead come over the. You can tell David when he shot him in the head. Hey guys, I shot him in the head.
He blinds his enemies, just like the sun reflecting off his sweat is just like, oh my god, my eyes.
Yeah. The reference from SpongeBob.
my eyes. Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, there's a lot of soft spots you get hit that leaves you marks for weeks.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I still have marks from Odin still on my stomach.
Oh dang.
Oh.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Oh,
go
ahead. Sorry.
I got shot in the face like twice already down there, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. And like you don't wear any lower face protection, you just wear glasses, right?
Yeah, but MK doesn't bot. They recommend they want you to, but I don't usually do. But then in Odin, I have to wear some face guard or something just to cover just my mouth. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like something like a scarf or like a little sleeve and just cover your mouth or a face, like you said, face guard.
Mm.
I think the one experience I got shot in the face was the time where we were playing this game. You kill someone and they're on your team, ordeal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was running across the brush line. I'm ducking. All of a sudden, I was leaning prone with another player behind me. We're firing back at these ones behind it. We were just going. It was like a tree, so we're kind of bouncing back and forth. All of a sudden, I saw a BB just ricochet right into my mouth, and I caught it with my lips, and I spit it. I go, puh. I said, "You mother, shot me in the mouth."
I've never had that happen.
I thought I did. I almost thought I chipped the tooth. I felt my teeth. I'm like, okay, they're clean.
Spits it out like a Terminator spits out a bullet.
Exactly. I was like, puh. I was like, you motherfuckers.
You yell at him, try again.
That's what I said, try again. You missed.
Ricochets don't count, biatch.
But I caught it. Like dodgeball.
Yeah. You catch it in your mouth.
You can dodge
You're
a wrench,
out.
you can dodge a ball.
Your teeth.
Oh, I love that reference.
Oh man.
So,
Nate, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Nate.
How long ago was that when we went to Mercer where all those snipers were playing? I think that was like a few months ago, right?
That was the free weekend. Yeah, that was the
free weekend,
end of March. Yeah, the very end of March.
There were so many snipers. I was like, I got domed once by somebody, and I like had to figure out their position. I finally found out their position, and I shot them once, and they retreated back into the woods. I'm like, bro, call your shots.
Yeah, you're gonna
hit him, and he retreated.
You're gonna get a lot of players like that.
Yeah,
and I'll let Caleb take this one.
Yeah,
and one of his teammates ended getting me out, and then I had to, I raised my hand and had the red cloth thing in my hand, and I was waving around, and I was like walking across the field. Somebody shot me like 50 times on purpose.
Oh.
I'm like, damn, I'm dead.
That happened to me like that one time. Like I was literally walking back to my spawn. I had a reflective vest that I was using as a dead rag. Like you could, I was holding it above my head. It's a reflective vest. You can see it from anywhere.
Yeah.
And people were still lighting me up. I'm like, dude, you have to see this. You have to see my dead rag. So yeah, I get that too.
I can relate to that part, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick about the like people not calling their hits, and then I'll toss it back over to you, Hunter.
That's good.
There are cheaters out there. This is a game of honor. So if you do get hit, you kind of have to take it upon yourself to be like, okay, yeah, I got hit. But also, like, I would say in my experience, like 90% of the people that you think you're hitting, either it's deflecting off tree branches or it's not reaching them, like they're falling off before it can actually reach them. Or, people's adrenaline is up a lot too. So if you hit them in a soft part, like in a soft part of their clothing or in their dump pouch or some other kind of equipment on their body, they might not
feel it.
Yeah, or even hear it. Sometimes like the sound just doesn't register because of the adrenaline. I would say that happens more often than people just simply being like, "Nah, screw this guy. I'm not gonna call it." And like I said, there are cheaters out there, but
man.
it's minimal from what I've seen. And Hunter, you can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, during his continuation of his conversation about that, I'm going to continue as well because I've run into a lot of experience of a lot of blind fire, a lot of players not calling them hits. I've had a lot of players where we traded and we were chill. But I had one last time I would traded, he got a little pissy.
Mm.
And I was being a good sport, like I always were. Like I always try to be a good sport as possible,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a nice person, so I go kind of like nice with people.
Yeah.
And I usually give people good sportsmanship and stuff. I give a lot of people I tell them like good hit, and I respect most people because it was a lucky shot. So I give them kind of a good shot. We've had a couple. I think, and Caleb can back me up on this one. It was a while ago, and Nate, I don't think you know this story. I think you probably have, but I want to make it a little short. So Cody almost got banned from Airsoft.
Oh,
Almost.
I remember. Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
Okay, he said something stupid, and the ref came over to me because I was friends with him. And I said, "So, ref, what happened to my friend?" He's like, "Well, he said something stupid." So I asked him, "What did he say?" Cody, and it's just so stupid. I even laughed about it, and I believe with the ref because you can't just say that because he said he shot the kid, and the kid shot him. And he still called his hit, and the kid didn't. And he fucking told him that. I'm like, Cody, no. And he's like, what? I'm like, don't say that. You're just stupid. The adrenaline
He
kicked in.
basically self-reported on himself for cheating, and like I get wanting to be honest, but like don't self-report.
Exactly. Precisely, he self-reported himself.
And he got kicked off for I think it was a full game. Like he got kicked off
Full day.
that it wasn't no, it wasn't the whole day. It was
it was just that one game or two. Yeah.
Like he got kicked off the game that was currently happening, and then the next game that happened, it was like the store policy that he had to sit out that entire game too. But the one after that, he could go back in if he wanted. And I don't remember if he did or not.
He never did.
Okay. But yeah, I love how he said like, "Oh yeah, I thought I hit him and he didn't call it. So when he shot me, I didn't call it and I kept shooting back." And the ref is like,
"Yeah,
huh?
No.
What?"
I know, and I'm not saying that you, David, agree with him. It was
He probably should have just said he didn't call his shots.
He should have just said. I mean, here's how I said this: if you get hit and a player didn't call his hit, you go back again and hit him again. It's just a game. I tell them, and I get hit multiple times. I think there was one time. It was a stormy day. It was dark and cold. It was out in Mercer, and I was minding my own business. I was flanking around the enemy team. And me and this guy got in a heated like I wasn't trying to get heated. I was trying to keep calm myself because the adrenaline kicked in. Like Caleb said, the adrenaline, like he said, it's pure pressure. It's that you don't want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what happened was I shot the dude, and the guy kept yelling at me saying, "I shot you. I said, "Bro, you didn't. Your teammate just shot me." And he fucking was bitching at me. I was like, keep my cool. I calmed down. And I walked away, and he called the ref on me, and the ref didn't know who he's looking for. So I walked away, wasn't told or anything, and went on my day. So
You never got in trouble and no one talked to you. That you just got away with
Nope,
it. Uh-huh.
I got away with it. He was just being a crybaby about it, and it's like, dude, calm down. It's just a game.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And I
that's why that's why the refs say like don't get into arguments with anyone if it's a like a not calling shots type of thing, like just like like you said, Hunter, just go back to spawn, find them again, shoot them again, or keep shooting them until they do call it.
exactly. I always went by that rule all the time, even though the one old gentleman who he still is, always said if they can't call their shots, shoot them in the soft spot. I remember the joke was always shooting underneath the belt, but now they say in the neck now.
Yeah, you don't want to you don't want to deprive people of their future generations.
Yeah.
Sadly. But yeah, I've had a lot of good experience. Go on, Caleb. I'll explain that in a minute.
No, I'll let you finish your thought, and then I want to ask a question.
Sure. My good experience I've had, I think, oh my God, what was the funny one? It was MK. Well, almost had refs look into me a lot because I was from Pennsylvania and I told them I live all the way out here. And they were stoked. They said, "You guys took 2 hours just to play here?" I said, "Yeah." I said, they said it's freaking cool. And
Yeah, that was,
I've had
that was a year.
exactly, but this is the second time I went there.
Mhm.
So I went down there with codes and we're playing, and I'll have a lot of refs eyeball me all the time because they see like my aggression and stuff all the time. And they were like, they just watch as like 2 players engage all the time above. So they have like a joyride. They're sitting there like, oh, we're enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of eyeball me all the time. And they give me some warnings. They don't give me like severe ones. They go, dude, that was pretty close. Or I had one time where I was coming out on the corner and a guy had his gun out. And I think I called it. But the ref's like, nah, you're still in the game. And he told the other kid, hey, you're out because you're blind firing. And I'm like, oh, because he watched the whole thing too. He sat there and said, yeah, man, he was blind firing. You're still in. I said, okay.
Holy moly!
I've had a lot close call ones, but continue with your question. I want to hear your question.
I was just gonna say, oh man, every single time I have the question in my head, and then as soon as I get asked it, it disappears. I'm having a Hunter moment right now.
Slap up. Just did it.
Okay, I now remember. For you two guys, has there ever been a interest in wanting to record your gameplay and kind of do something with that? And some people record their games to just watch back later to figure out how they can improve themselves or whatever. And then there's people like me that record videos and then kind of edit it so that a lot of the fluff gets taken out and it's more entertaining to watch. But have you guys ever thought about recording?
Nate, you go first on this one.
I absolutely thought about recording. I thought about getting myself a GoPro, like doing something you do,
Mm-hmm.
and like collabing videos or something with you if you wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's definitely like I know GoPros can be a little expensive. I have one too, so I know for a lot of folks it's kind of like why would I spend all that money? I could just buy another airsoft gun instead. But no, but that's cool. That's cool. I think like recording airsoft videos is definitely educational for the people that make them, and also entertaining too, because y'all have seen the airsoft videos I've recorded. Half of the funny shit is when we're in spawn, and none of that would ever get memorialized if I didn't have a GoPro.
Exactly.
We literally had the little Einsteins playing as we were marching to spawn.
Yes, we did. I mean, it is a really good question. I do want to answer that question because am I going to start like you do, kind of GoPro stuff? Yes. We're watching me play. No, I think my play styles are good to where they're at. I really don't think I need more improvement than what I have now. Um, but I could do, like Nate said, do a collaboration and stuff, doing like partial of each one's point of view
Yeah,
of how we
that'd be cool.
play and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though next year, boys, I've decided, even though this year I could have bought it, which I probably will, but probably won't be starting until next year because you know how things are investment wise.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that too, Nate, getting a GoPro and stuff and hopping
Mhm.
on the gun. I mean, I
I
have
thought
someone who can
also
do.
get a cam too.
hmm Investment is a big thing. I mean,
Definitely.
yes, I will be getting a GoPro probably now, and then next year probably starting it. I just right now I'm just kind of getting it one piece by piece at the moment until everything's all ready
Yeah.
by then.
It's definitely good to take your time and buy your accessories piece by piece until you're actually ready to start recording. So that's a good mindset to have.
Yep.
Exactly. Always pay short, even though the stuff does take a while to get. Just play by year, play by month, and you'll be set.
And
It's always nice.
I'll also
Mm-hmm.
say like it doesn't have to be like the newest GoPro model.
Fuck no.
Like even some of the like 6 and 7 year old models, they still record in 4K if you want, and even the 1080p obviously is pretty standard, but even the older ones will do just as good of a job as the newer ones. So there's definitely a way
hmm
to cut corners on the budget, so to speak.
Exactly. And I
You don't have to go like all out in a price.
exactly. You don't have to go crazy with it. It's not like for me. I'm not too crazy about the prices right now, but I'm waiting for a good sale to hit in, and then that's when you strike. I ain't getting new something probably that I can tinker with that's easy to operate,
Hmm.
nothing too crazy. But that's the next investment. Plus, um, I do want to point out, even though this is off subject, fields nowadays. Um, I've just found out Odin Paradise. You all have heard of that? They're like down by Newark, Ohio. I do recommend trying out that indoor field. Yes, it's a bit far as ways, but you'll get your money's worth on it. They seem like a simple field. Um, they do play the same game twice, but they switch sides.
Okay.
So you get to take turns each side you play on one game mode, and they switch it up and they do it twice in a row, which is really nice. I like that. They see more of the time management, so you get like 20, 15-minute play time, which is nice. Um,
Yeah.
$25 for admission. It's cheaper than MK. Um, I think I overrule Odin over MK because Odin's a really good field, in my personal opinion.
Hmm.
See, I want to go to Odin.
They are a good field. Really dark field though. Some areas are darker than others.
Yeah.
But with MK, there's more brightness, but they have so many people that there's not saying a lot of cheers, but a lot of quick fire and stuff. But they're more
So
expensive than Odin.
so now
Yep.
for the 17th, like for my birthday, or well, my birthday's actually tomorrow, but my party's the 17th. Um,
Mhm.
we actually have 12 anchors at my grandparents' house or great grandparents' house that we can use for the party.
All right.
We mean anchors?
Yeah,
Anchors,
like
acres. We say
Oh,
acres, anchors.
I thought I meant anchors like for a ship, and I'm like,
Yeah,
why?
he has 12 of those. All right, guys, start lifting.
toss those guys.
Get overboard.
I was like, are we going fishing? What are we doing?
Airsoft. You got fish yet? No.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say real quick, that's another reason why, if you two do decide to get GoPros for yourselves, you guys play airsoft a lot more than me, and also at different fields that you have access to. I know like Odin is probably the same distance from you guys as it is me, but also like you guys have more opportunity to go to those fields, and so just like opening up like new fields for video recording use. I don't know if that was English or not that I just said.
It was. It
Uh,
was totally for me, but yeah.
it was hard to understand. I'm sorry, my mouth doesn't
It's all
give the goods
good.
word.
Same.
Um, but no, I think that'd be really cool, just so you can showcase not only different perspectives when we're all playing together, but also just different fields too.
Just to show that there are other fields out there to try out and try to get new airsofters. The fields, if I
Yeah.
had to rate them now, the way things are, I've played so far, if I had to rate them from 1 to 5, or 5 to 1, I would put Maryland indoor field. I put that number 5 because, to be honest, it's too small. Shops barely has anything holding up. Better they do now than they were back then.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, it's more of a new beginner, not a expert airsofter who's been doing it for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You guys want to go through all the fields that you've been to, and then give it like a number rating with 5 being the worst and 1 being the best. Because I know like we've been to a lot of the same fields, but also Hunter, you've been to Odin, and I've been to a couple fields in Connecticut that I want to talk about too.
Yep.
So
That's fine.
let's just start off with Nate, and then we'll go to Hunter, and then we'll end with me, and then we'll talk about the fields that you've been to and what you like and don't like about them, and give them a
Not
star
really
rating.
sure.
What
Field
are you
was
saying
called.
is rate them? What they can prove, and what do you think they should do for future if they wanted to?
I don't remember the names of all the ones we've been to, and I've been to every one except for Odin that you've went to so
I
far,
think
Hunter.
you've only been to us with Mercer and MK. That's the only two I think we took you.
Wasn't there like another field that we went to, or
No, you've been up to my house, and that was just. You haven't been to my house once. I don't think there was any other. I don't think I ever took you to anyone. No, we didn't. But I've been
no?
to
I think
most.
for an MK, I think I like Mercer way better because it's like it's open.
That's a fair statement. Is there anything you think cover wise or anything they should improve, or you
I
think
feel
everything's
like
just
there's
good?
any open spaces. Like they should add like a little bit more cover, maybe. And like I don't know, their spawn is like very far away. So once you
Okay,
get out to like, a certain point, you have to walk all the way back to spawn, which is like far.
I do want to answer that question, Nate, of yours about how far spawn is. Okay, that time the reason why spawns were so far apart because we had over like 200 to 300 players who showed up, almost roughly around that range.
Yeah.
That's why spawn was so far away from each other because we had so many people, but mostly people. And I'll bring that up when we get done about this rating. But yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah,
go
I
on, Nate.
think like just MK was like MK was an indoor field. Do they have an outdoor field too?
No, just
Damn.
indoor. But they own like 3 of them.
All right. Um, but MK, the one we went to is MK. I think it's a pretty. I've never been to another indoor field, so I don't know how another indoor field is, but I liked MK as an indoor field, possibly.
All right.
Um, like I said, I haven't been to another indoor field. I've been to Mercer like or MK twice because remember like we went there twice.
All right.
And then the other day the other day I was at your house. But before that we went to Mercer, which was like a 2-hour drive. But I had I had a lot of fun at Mercer. Despite the drive, it was a fun drive because we were just like like the boys hanging out in a long car ride. You know, it wasn't like bad. And we have what's his name came with us too. Forgot.
Oh, the new guy that Cody always brings along half the time. Or are you talking about David?
The new guy, the other guy.
Oh, that
David was
invites.
there.
Yeah, that's something different. He was brand new. I don't know much about him. Cody probably does. I had to ask him, but he was brand new. He had a G&G lever action gas blowback lever action rifle.
That's crazy.
Shoots one.
Yeah.
It's gas blowback, but they made a way to where you could tap the bottom to make it HPA.
Oh, that's
So
sick.
So I did run into a samurai on Odin, which I will explain that. I'll put that for which one was the best indoor, which one was a bad outdoor. Good indoor and bad. I'll explain that, but I'll explain that after Nate's done with his. If you're done, Nate.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. If I had to put between good to bad, I'm just gonna go straight to Mercer. Like Nate said, open field. They have some cover. But there's some things I rate it to be very low. Mercer, I give it 6 out of 10 because I love the field. I do. And nice people around, and a lot of people play there. And it's only closest thing to my house and for Caleb as well, sadly.
Yeah, I'm sad about that.
If there were more outdoor fields, I would play them. But most of them are like in Ohio. And I would like drive all the way. I would have to try those out next to see if that's qualified to be, which not sure yet till we figure that out. But Mercer's a 6 out of 10 for me. They're trying to improve, trying different ways to make people inspired to stay. But people who play in Mercer don't last after 1 or 2 games. They leave first or second game. And the reason I'm just saying that because I've seen a lot of experience where I see 50 people, they went down to 30 because 10 of them or 20 of them just leave after 1 game when they spent like $10 to play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right.
I have a question about the grenades. The refillable ones, you have to put like a charge in there, don't you? Like when you refill them, you have to like have that thing that blows up in it, right?
Yes, that's gas.
It depends on the type of grenade, but yeah, typically it's either like CO2, propane, or it's not allowed anymore at the field. But there's like little gunpowder things.
Yeah.
Oh, they have those grenades where they actually blow up after you pull a pin. Those are
They're
disposable grenades.
At like the one we went to, the 2-hour drive, they were allowed flares there.
Okay, I'm going to answer that question because so they're allowed to have gas grenades that can refill. Those are allowed. They have ones that you can ticket to where you have sensitivity. So when you throw it, it goes off as sensitivity. That's what you saw flare. There is one field that does recommend disposable grenades, and I will explain that here in a minute. They allow those indoors. It's up in Odin. My favorite indoor field out of the ones I've been into is Odin. Odin is like not as packed, a bit cheaper than just a tiny bit cheaper than MK, but worth the drive. Nice community of people, players who are brand new who just started from. They went to paintball to now Airsoft, which I understand, but there was a lot of TKing in the game in the Odin.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized that when I was playing with Justin, me and him were getting TK'd a lot from our teammates, which is it just pisses me off sometimes being TK'd by your own teammates. I've had good experiences with some speed softers, and let's just say we were equal match. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to indoor spaces, because sometimes it's your sixth senses you have to pop in your head, and it sucks when enemies are coming from you behind and you look in your front. So that's a big thing. But I like Odin. I like their field. I give them 8 out of 10, just because they're trying to get better, which they are.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been around for a very long time.
That's cool. Have you been to any other fields, or is it just those?
Odin has been my newest field I've been to. I'm trying to go to other ones. I'll explain what's next year's coming. I think we've already chatted this before, but it's another trip I want to hit, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Balahack?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's like the Mecca, that's the Jerusalem of airsoft.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a oof, it's gonna be a big one. Um, I might take someone with me to go take this 8 hour long trip. 8 hours away. Yes, it's a long trip, boys. Um, is it gonna be worth it? Well, I was thinking I was just talking with Codes if he wants to go, which I highly doubt he wants to. But he keeps saying he wants to, and sometimes it goes the other way. Um, I've been thinking about going down there for a while. I was like, man, I should just take the trip and say fuck it. Well, I'm thinking about going next year. Just try a game, when they have an open play going on, just like what Mercer is.
Mm-hmm.
Just to drive down there, get experience, and give you guys the feedback that I did down there, what I think. Because I know Caleb wants to go down there for one of the events, which I think we'll plan that whenever they host one, so we all can go down there.
Yeah, they have so many different themes that it'd be cool just like to pick and choose, what we would want to go to. Because if it's for me, if it's gonna be a trip that's that far away, it's gonna take like the entire weekend. Just for me personally, I want to make it like the biggest thing possible.
And I understand that because I was just going to get down to have my experience and see how the shop and everything is down there,
Yeah, yeah.
just to have the bright eye. So if any of you want to go down there, we'll plan as a group to go down there.
Okay, so like for that trip, it depends on when we're going because I'm going to North Carolina in like June. I think it's June. Um,
Well, this is for
as
next
for July,
year.
we used to go North Carolina every year in July, but now it's swatched back to June because like North Carolina starts getting colder later, or like we seen earlier in the year is easier to get into, and it's also like equally warm since but it's really nice.
North or
That trip
South Carolina?
going like
North or South?
North Carolina.
Okay.
I've
So
been to
you'll be like,
South, like North Carolina is a bit of a drive too, so
okay. Because you'll be right next to Battle Hack Airsoft. It's in Virginia.
okay, yeah,
You'd be somewhat.
so we're out like on an island, like there's a bridge you have to cross over. We have a house. We have a house there, a vacation house there. We go
Nice.
every.
Nice.
That's pretty legit.
Caleb?
Do you mind? Can I share my thoughts on the fields I went to?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I don't know if you know this, Nate, but I think Hunter does. So I grew up in Connecticut for most of my life, and so my first ever experience with airsoft was in Connecticut. There was two main fields over there. There was Ground Zero Airsoft, which was kind of near the center of the state, and then there was Tactical Airsoft, which was an indoor field that was a little bit further away.
All right.
So Ground Zero Airsoft still remains as my favorite airsoft field I've ever went to. Just gonna straight up give it a 9 out of 10. It's outdoors. It has everything you want. It's got like a fire base. Like it's got like trenches and bunkers dug into the sand, and you can play like a close quarters World War I style game if you wanted to. But that's only one small part of the field. There's still like the woods and swamps that you can explore. There's one main village, which is all like super tight. What was I gonna say? Mercer wishes it could have a village as robust as this.
Yeah.
Just imagine if you copy pasted an indoor field and just put it outdoors. That's what the village was like.
Man. That was sick.
Uh,
Okay.
So sick. And like the rules changed too. Like once you entered the village, you had to go on semi-auto, no matter what your gun was.
Damn.
Okay.
Even LMGs. And so just that field, I love the play style of it. Even if you only had like 60 or 80 people, there was still enough room where you could be tactical and take over different locations, and actually hold them rather than getting overrun or
Mhm.
I guess maneuverability was definitely a big factor there. So I haven't been there in a long time, but I definitely think that's my favorite field. And what they get,
All right.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
That sounds cool. Like if they like have a game mode where like a rebellion like game mode where like the villagers against the like soldiers or something.
Oh yeah, they did that occasionally. It was a blast.
Oh wow.
And they would have
Okay.
Yeah.
they would have games where it would just be the trenches. Like it'd probably be the last game of the day because mostly everyone would be gone at that point. So it would be like 15 versus 15 in the trenches, and it would just be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That is so cool.
so yeah, definitely an amazing field. And then second, tactical airsoft. That is the only indoor field I've ever been to. I would just give it a 7 out of 10. Indoors really isn't my style. It's way too fast paced, and I get scary for
That's fine.
it's I just for me I hate looking around a corner and then I could get point blanked. I don't know, that's not my thing. I went over there a bunch, probably 6 or 7 times, back in the
Yeah.
mid 2010s, but like I said, like I enjoyed playing there, but it's just not my preferred style. um so, and then I guess for fields here, I've been to two. I mean, obviously Mercer. Mercer is my main field nowadays. I'll give it.
Sadly.
Oh, what's that?
I said sadly.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish I was back in Connecticut. No. The Mercer has a lot of good things about it. I like the open space. In a lot of the parts of the field, but I don't like the brush. I think there's way too much brush, and especially with bigger games, like we saw this during the free weekend, where whoever controls that middle woods area just like controls the game. You can't advance past that point. So maneuverability and being tactical is definitely a lot harder to do. The biggest thing you can do is actually like swing way around the outside of the field and then do like a long flank, but that takes so much time to do. So I guess for like improving, Mercer could add some more buildings. I like what they're doing with the Connex containers, but it's not like a typical village. Like it's not like there's no rooms you have to clear. It's just like one box here, one box there, one box over there,
Yep.
So for me, that's something I would improve is add a village. Take out a lot of the brush that's kind of near the schoolhouse area, and just like put a bigger village there.
Yeah, I think of the
Mhm.
to have there. That middle brush area, I think that's one of the main reasons we lost.
Yeah, it's just really annoying with large groups of players. Like if we have a large number.
Exactly. Yep.
As I've noticed, they like to hide in there too.
Yeah.
They can like come out for like a few seconds or check out the area. They stay in there.
It's everyone's play style. They all have to play the way we have to play it. So if we're playing it, they will as well. So
Yeah.
it's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I remember always defenders always get smacked because sometimes they don't have someone to revive them, or you're like out, like even playing attack and defend. If you don't have no one to defend, you have no one who's going to be on your side to revive you. You're fucked
Yeah.
most of the time.
And then just wrapping up, the last field I went to. Well, not the last field. The last field on my list, rather. It's called Three Rivers Paintball Park. It's funnily enough, it's actually like 5 minutes down the road from me.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
it's wicked close, but it's mainly a paintball field. One Sunday a month they do an airsoft event, and unfortunately I work on Sunday, so I can like never go there. But that how that field operates is super close to Ground Zero back in Connecticut, the outdoor field in Connecticut.
Okay.
So that same vibe, but just like obviously a different layout.
All right.
So I really enjoyed that field a lot. I'd say like an 8.5 out of 10 for Three Rivers paintball. I have a video up on my channel of when I took my wife there. My wife's first and only time trying airsoft.
That's all good.
But I really like that field a lot. There's a lot of bigger trees. They have like a village area, a couple like bigger bunkers that you can hide out in. Yeah, just really good flow. I'd probably have to go back there again to give a more accurate review of how the field operates. But I like that field a lot. It's definitely the closest to what I prefer in terms of outdoor fields, and that's it.
All right. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to browse around fields right now, man. I'm trying to travel, so
Mm-hmm.
trying to put my personal opinions and see what if they're worth going, if they're worth not to go, or
Yeah,
just to see if
I'll see if there's like any field in North Carolina that's worth going. If you like, I'll let you know. Like, I mean, it is a bit of a drive, but like,
yeah,
there's also New York too. I know there's a couple fields in upstate New York, like around the Buffalo area.
probably yeah. But
yeah,
I'm just trying to try some down south and down west outside of me because it seems to get more popular down that way than it is up. I don't know. I don't know if up in New York it does really, but that's just me.
Yeah, lot of stuff to check out. You know, if we have the opportunity to travel somewhere, like we're gonna take it. Like Hunter, you went to Odin. Nate, maybe you can find something in North Carolina. I feel like any information is good information.
Yeah.
I
Well,
feel like they'll have like those game where the field where you like storm a beachfront or something, like
That'd be cool.
literally reenactment thing.
all right.
That would be pretty
But
cool experience, to be honest.
it would be as well. I mean, yeah, that would be a good experience. Oh shit! How many of the cards do I got? Jesus, let me see what I got here.
Oh, for the Evite cards.
Yeah, I got a bunch of these. Oh shit! I got the same pistol.
I'm sure a pair is worth something. Like I know you got to combine them into the different poker hands, and then you can like win prizes and stuff.
Probably, but then you can see different like additions and stuff. It looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually keep them
Online that had. What was that one pistol we seen online that was like two pistols literally stuck together?
Oh, it's been like that for a while. They've done a gun with two combined to one, two barrel.
Yeah.
They've done them.
Is interesting.
I'll show you some another time, but I'll probably show you this probably this upcoming Saturday, the 17th. I'll show you that. They make a rifle. They make a pistol. Not yeah, not like a 1911. Yeah. Last thing before we all take our leave, because I know Caleb has other things he has to get done, which I understand respectfully.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we've been going for like an hour and 15 minutes, and I just wanted to wrap up and get some final thoughts and close out the show.
Exactly. My final thoughts is for next year. I mean, with Battle Hack and some other fields coming up for next year, for me to kind of move around and try to try other fields. Even though I've been to Mercer, I've been to Odin, I've been to MK. I've been to an outdoor field out in New York, but that was someone's personal field, which they start starting out playing airsoft games. That was like a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I lost it now, but I can't remember. It was up in Syracuse, up in New York. I was up there.
Yeah,
I think, but I can't remember. But they were doing like their own purse. It was a private for people who wanted to play. You have to call them and schedule, and they pay from there. But I was trying to say is down the road of going to other places. My next trip was gonna go like to Michigan, go to Motorboat. I think it's called Motorboat Airsoft indoor field out there. Battle Hack, and a few other ones too. That's more outdoor as well. That's why I'm trying to like look around and see so I can go visit those areas. Which yes, Battle Hack. I will plan that on. I'll explain that during our next podcast if we do get a next one. Probably in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain more of that. But my plan was to visit certain new ones next year and have my feedback for next time we have this.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. That's going to be awesome.
Oh man, it will. It will.
Do you have any final thoughts, Nate?
No, not that I could think of. So like we're ending the podcast here soon. So like to wrap it all up with what I want to say is like I feel like I have to get like used to like finding like different guns. Because right now I'm in a searching for like a gun that I could use right now and get used to.
Mm-hmm. Like you want a primary firearm that you can like buy attachments for and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then like eventually like possibly maybe like get a pistol with that too. So I have like something to rely back on if like I run out of mag and somebody's right next to me, and then you know.
I will.
I feel.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like I'm more like how Hunter is. Like he doesn't like high caps. I think I'm the same. Like I have to like. I like to quickly reload.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a tricky situation, you it's just easier to just pop in a mag. Boom, you're done.
I totally agree. Yeah, mid caps is the way to go.
We'll talk about that another time,
Yes,
boys. We'll talk more about that later. But there's all final thoughts.
And we're gonna close it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. Thank you, Nate and Hunter, for being on the show. And we'll have you back sometime, and maybe we can get some other folks in our Airsoft squad as well. I think that would be really enlightening. And maybe I'll grab my brother too at some point. We started Airsoft at the same time, and so he doesn't play a lot anymore, but I'm sure he has some thoughts of the old days as they were back in the early 2010s. So I think there's a lot of different directions we can take the podcast. And we're just gonna roll with it. So
Yeah, we'll get through with it. We'll try to give you guys the name of the title soon. We just have to think about as a group. Probably what Caleb said about the name will probably be the official name because it does sound cool though.
Plasto Blasto does sound kind of cool, but yeah, we'll definitely come to a consensus.
We'll come to a consensus, but yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Deuces, everyone.
Deuces with the deuces.
No outro from Nate?
Damn, Nate. What the fuck?
This
This cuts out from him saying,
Yeah, I said deuces, didn't I?
Oh, no.
No, you didn't.
We didn't hear you. It cut out.
You cut out last second. Biggest fail bloopers.
The freaking audio cut when I said deuces or something.
Yeah, he said.
It came in right then. It came when you were explaining it. It came in, but when you when you tried to do an outro, it was just like.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio. Down in Ohio, swag like Ohio.